Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. Finally, we have reached the last section of our discussion on the Rahu and Ketu's axis, and in this video we will try to understand that if we will find Rahu to be placed in the 12th house and Ketu to be placed in the 6th house of your natal chart, what kind of results this placement will bring. So definitely guys, this placement has got some positive and negative attributes attached to it, and we will definitely try to understand this axis in a modern day context. So guys, to begin with, what is the role of Rahu and Ketu in our natal chart? So like the way I always say this thing, that whatsoever is hidden from you and all of your latent talents or dormant potential or the surprise elements which universe has planned for you or which is stored in your Akashic karmic records, Rahu and Ketu plays a very pivotal role in churning up and bringing all of that in front of us. Definitely Ketu has everything to do with your intuition. It has everything to do with whatsoever your soul has experienced in the past. And Rahu has got everything to do with your ambitions, with the fame, with your materialistic desires or your growth and your journey to the future in this lifetime. So now guys, when we talk about Rahu's placement in the 12th house, let's look at this placement first. So definitely there are some overlap which can be found with the placement of Rahu with the 12th house, because 12th house which also tells about the foreign lands, exploration, unknown entities, all sort of mystery, esoteric encounters are somehow attached with the 12th house. Like the way guys, when we talk about meditation or spirituality, definitely 5th house plays a very important role over there. 8th house to an extent also plays a very important role, but when we talk about the spirituality which is connected with the 12th house, over here it's like universe is always communicating with you. This could be through omens, this could be through signs, this could be through those hunches and intuitive aspect, but somehow the spirituality which is connected with the 12th house has got a different level attached to it. All sort of out of the body experiences, astral experiences, mantra siddhi, telepathy, all of that is somehow connected with the 12th house. And as you know that Rahu actually kind of find solace when it is placed over here. Whether you talk about on a material plane where Rahu also represents foreign land, foreign people, foreign culture. So this aspect of the 12th house finds resonance with the qualities of the Rahu. Second thing is that guys, like the way, it's not like that you have to be a yogi in order to get the best benefit out of this placement of Rahu in your 12th house. But also when we talk about all those like big sci-fi writers or all those big novelists and all, like when you read the novels, like this could be as simple as that Harry Potter or Game of Thrones, where the author has created a whole new world in his writing. Look at the depth or the range of the imagination of the author. So if someone who has to delve into those kind of realities, so somehow you need to have a strong 12th house supporting you. Now this could be that it's only the 12th house which hold this capacity to cut off your awareness or cut you off from the reality of the world, so that you can get into that parallel existence of reality. And because Rahu also represents all sort of, because Rahu and Ketu only represents all sort of astral entities, all sort of kind of extraterrestrial communication. So because of which Rahu's placement in the 12th house many times find resonance through these mediums. Now this could be through spirituality, this could be through being in foreign land, being engaged and deeply invested in research and scientific exploration. But guys, the only concern over here is that when we talk about anything to do with the intoxicants or making use of these mediums in order to elevate your spiritual consciousness, so in that aspect Rahu's presence in the 12th house can create maximum obstacles. Because guys, there are certain lagnas, like this is something which I always advise to the Aquarius, whether you are an Aquarius moon sign person or whether you are an Aquarius lagna. So because a part of your life, Saturn has got the rulership over your lagna if it is Aquarius, and it has also got the rulership over your 12th house. So there is a part part of you which is always demanding exertion of energies. So that is the only reason charities becomes very important for the Aquarius Lagna natives, and they are very true philanthropic and humanitarian as well. But the point which I am trying to say over here is that if the overall chart is indicating a life where there is a lot of identity crisis related issue, self-doubt related concerns, and always trying to find the approval in the outside world. If native is going through or battling with these sort of complexes, Rahu's placement in the 12th house can easily attract native towards all these shortcut or these kind of intoxicants. This could be like, you can also make use of drugs in order to elevate your spiritual consciousness as well, or you could also make use of drug to escape from all of your life's problems. So that is the only one aspect where Rahu's placement in the 12th house can create concerns. Apart from that, guys, I have already mentioned this thing, anything to do with being in a foreign land, succeeding in life because of the support of foreign people, foreign national, and doing something extraordinary, something very innovative in the lines of science, exploration, mystery, like aviation, I would say, astronomy. This could be a very supporting placement of Rahu in the 12th house. Now, I don't remember in Carl Sagan's chart where his Rahu is placed, but this is a kind of a typical placement. Like, I would say that for someone to be very much invested in astronomy and outer space and all, so Rahu, Aquarius and 12th house actually plays a very important role over there. Now, guys, when we talk about the general attributes, the way it has been mentioned in our scriptures, this placement is generally considered as good because of the way I already explained, so much of the overlap which is taking place between the qualities of the 12th house and the Rahu. So Rahu, which represents your in-laws, so this could be a very good placement that a native might remain lucky in getting the right set of support from his in-laws, or because of the marriage, after the marriage, native's in-law will also, in-laws family will also start progressing in the life. And also, guys, the only concern which has been seen with this placement is that, because like the way I always say, Rahu represents the kind of thought which comes to your mind, and 12th house is a very hidden house, and somehow nature always have a say whenever 12th house comes in the picture. I always say this thing, 8th house is something where you can progress towards magic, towards mystery or occult. 12th house is something where the communication always happens from the other side. So this is a kind of a placement where native might have many plans in one direction, but nature or his life puts him on other direction. Or I would say that whatsoever native might be planning, life generally works out in a different direction. Obviously, for that to happen, we have to see how the overall chart and overall planetary alignment is supporting that or contradicting it. But yeah, this is one pattern which has been also seen in many times. Guys, like the way when we were having a discussion on Rahu's placement in the 11th house and Ketu's placement in the 5th house, I mentioned over there that because Jupiter is the Karaka for both of these two houses, 11th house and the 5th house, same way. This is a kind of a typical placement where we generally say this thing, that one thing is that if you have to see that which planet has got this capacity to control Rahu, so that planet is definitely Mercury. Like the way there are so many forms of astrology where they give individual attention to Mercury, not Saturn. If you have to judge how Rahu is going to be functioning in the life of the person or in the chart. So same way, this is a kind of a typical placement where Mercury's placement and dignity in the chart becomes very important, because first of all, Rahu gets controlled by Mercury, and in the original Kalpurush Kundli, 6th house where Ketu is placed, Mercury attains exaltation over there. So with this kind of placement, Mercury will have a major say in giving you this insight in which direction native is going to be using his energies to progress, whether in the form of spiritual elevation, doing something in the lines of innovation, exploration, or how native manage any of the concerns of loss, expenses, or exertion of energies in this lifetime. Now guys, let's now take our discussion or attention to where Ketu is placed, which is in the 6th house. So guys, this is a kind of a typical placement where the way Rahu is blending in with the attributes of the 12th house, Ketu in the 6th house will act in a very extreme way. First of all, because as you know that, see, 6th house represents our daily life, and we all want a harmony in our daily life. You do not want to start your day or have a day like this, that everything is breaking down suddenly. From your child's like school, some distress call is coming, then at office something happened. So 6th house tells about, or a strengthened 6th house tells about a smoothness in our daily work life. And Ketu's placement over here many times create a lot of concerns, like and here I'm not talking about the immediate nature of problem. It's like for all those people who are always getting transferred from one place to another place, from one department to another department, one branch to another branch, this could work out in this way as well. Second thing is that guys, definitely beyond doubt, when we talk about the concerns of health, so 6th house represents your health related concerns. 6th house also tells about the concerns of credit and loans as well. So these are a couple of the areas where native has to remain very cautious, very careful, because like the way the typical trait of Rahu and Ketu of mystery, secrecy, that native might have to go through undiagnosed concerns, and the typical entities represented by Ketu in our body as well. Like Ketu represents our joints, Ketu represents our backbone, Ketu represents our ear. So in all these body parts, if native is having some issue, this could be getting caused because of the Ketu creating hurdle being placed in the 6th house. And also guys, because Ketu also represents male progeny. So for someone who is being blessed with a male progeny or not, or your relationship with your male child, all of that can also be decoded or can be understood the way Ketu is operating in the 6th house. Also guys, the good part over here is that because somehow 6th house, which tells about our maternal uncles, and Ketu represents our maternal grandfather, but in a way Ketu has got a major say towards our maternal side relatives. So if Ketu is working out in a dignified way, it is placed in a supporting sign being expected by the planet Jupiter, then native might get along well with his maternal relatives, or because of the support of his maternal uncles, maternal grandfather, native might progress in the life. Also guys, with this kind of placement, like the way I was talking about, any of the concerns of credit, any of the concerns of loan has to be handled very cautiously, very carefully. And guys, this is a kind of a typical placement where generally it has been advised that a native should not have a quarrelsome nature or unnecessary instigating nature. And also a lot is dependent on that how this axis is operating, because one thing is for sure, if this axis is operating in a constructive way, it will make you so competent, it will make you so powerful that you will destroy all of your enemies. Or let's say for example, if this axis is not working out in a constructive way, so all sort of false allegations, accusations, or being framed in the false cases, or you have to deal with very powerful enemies. So this axis is responsible for creating all these issues as well. So the potential is there. So it all comes down to that how the overall chart is responding to it. And guys, astrology, you cannot attach or pin everything to astrology. At the end of the day, we have to judge or monitor our own personality as well. We have to be in sync or in reality with our own flaws in our personality as well. I will give you a very short example in this context. So like what happened when I was very new to Canada, I was in this part-time job, and suddenly because I did not have access to my phone, or it was a very busy day, I suddenly, when I checked my phone, I had like one person who is like typical copy paste a very scathing, a very negative comment, very anti-religious as well, and very mean comment. And this person, this lady, she was like just in a rampage, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste in all of my 3 channels, in all of the videos, like someone who is actually on fire. And the person does not know what she is doing. So somehow when I got into the depth of it, I struck a conversation with her because I realized that there is something wrong. Then later on I got to know that in one of my Hindi channel video, palmistry video, there were some spam comments and mobile numbers which were being listed over there, and she just got her reading from some person who has messaged or commented his number in that video thread, and she got her reading from that person, and she kept on emailing or messaging this person again and again. That person blocked her, and she thought that she's communicating with me, and that was her outburst. And later on, just to pacify her, and she was later on then apologizing, and then I asked her, okay, like, okay, if you're so impatient, let me look at your chart. Okay, what is your concern? And when I look at her chart, she had a Virgo Lagna with Ketu and Mars in the 3rd house. Mars was already active in the dasha, and when I asked her, okay, what is your concern, she said like there are a couple of court cases which people have filed against me. It's like, if you behave like this, even I got intrigued or tempted or forced to even do the same. So that is something which you have to realize, that at the end of the day, it's not only the planets which are operating, but you have to be aware of your own flaws as well. So with this kind of excess, if you have this sort of nature, like framing people or becoming a part of any of the unethical, unlawful activity, then it can actually make people go against you, or being bothered, or being disturbed by the presence of the people around you which are very envious of you, can also be foreseen. And yes guys, with this kind of placement, it is generally advisable that it's like you should not be envious of other people's success. The more you are happy and supporting and contributing towards other people's success, the better this axis will work out for you. Also guys, because with the 6th house placement of Ketu, if native is hard bent on making best use out of this axis, that you want to be a perfectionist in your chosen craft, you are very dedicated, you are very hardworking, you are very honest, and you do your job with complete utter devotion to the authorities and all, then this placement can actually give you some sort of reward, success, authority, power can also be bestowed upon. So yes guys, overall, if I were to say, this placement has got lot of potential. It can actually give you very deep, very honest work ethics, and can make you a pioneer in any given field, can make you very cosmopolitan, friend circle, success in foreign land, new discoveries, innovations, and even in the fields of spirituality. So guys, like the way I have already mentioned this thing, see guys, whenever you want to progress in that unknown dimension, so like the way I've been saying this thing, 4th house, 5th house, 8th house, a lot of the onus, a lot of the kind of say remains in our own intention, in our discipline, in the intensity of our austerities. But when it comes down to 12th house, it is a door which can only be opened from other side. And definitely guys, 12th house is the house of enlightenment, of moksha, of out of the body experiences, vak siddhi. So many powers reside in the 12th house. So yes, if this axis is operating in a constructive way, native can get excel in these esoteric dimensions and fields as well. And also guys, because when it comes down to Rahu, you cannot even overlook that yes, Rahu has got ownership over nakshatras like Ardra or Adra, which can create a lot of upheavals. Swati can make you very materialistic, can make you millionaire as well. But Sadbhisha is considered as the most esoteric of out of all the nakshatras, like where the healing powers are also very intense. So yes, if overall chart is operating in a very spiritual way, like when we talk about spirituality, so this axis has got a potential of it, and over and above that, individually Saturn is well placed, the native can actually progress over there. And yes guys, for anything to do with the material success, so Mercury's placement will become very, very important. And guys, as a part of the remedies, the only one thing which I want to say over here is that specifically with this kind of placement, Worship of Lord Shiva and worship of Lord Ganesha becomes very important, because ultimately Lord Ganesha only resides out of all the chakras in our body. Lord Ganesha stands as a guardian at the first chakra, which is the Mooladhara chakra, and for anything to do with the problems created by Ketu, Lord Ganesha is the best remedy. So starting your day with the Atharv Shri Ganesh Stotra, worship of Lord Ganesha, can actually be seen as one of the best remedy to tackle the problems of this excess of Rahu and Ketu. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For furthermore updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.